Reynold, having taken the blast full on while blocking his wife from harm's way, asked her if she was okay. As she looked toward the direction of the explosion, his eyes filled with malice, expecting an enemy to emerge. "Art," said Alice, her eyes filled with dread and terror, fearing the worst. She tried to reach out toward the exploded house, saying Arthur was still there. Reynold, as if struck by a thunderbolt, recalled that their son Arthur was in the house as it exploded. His mind went blank for a second. Holding back his emotions and tears, realizing no chance of survival was imminent, but still clung to hope as he charged toward the burning, exploded home, hoping to at least recover his body. Using his strength to move the high-temperature debris out of the way, his mind was dead focused on searching for his son. He didn't feel the scorching stones as he moved them with ease, adrenaline taking over. But relief came back to Reynold's eyes. Not believing what he saw before him, his legs went weak, and all his energy left him in an instant. He let out a chuckle he couldn't control, laughing with joy as if the heavens were with him. Alice, following from behind and seeing her husband's behavior, asked what was the matter. But Reynold, entranced and not listening to Alice, just said with joy, "You have to be kidding me. He is not even 3 years old." Alice looked toward what Reynold was seeing and was shocked, not believing her eyes. They saw Arthur floating mid-air, deep in meditation, having already formed his mana core. Arthur slowly descended to the ground, his hands behind his back, walking with pride in his achievements, his eyes closed as he thought inwardly about how good he felt. He now understood the feeling of forming a mana core. The sensation was so wonderful it felt like the trees had become greener. But as he looked around, he wondered why he was seeing trees instead of the ceiling of their home. Looking around and seeing their home shattered into pieces, enraged, he shouted inwardly, "Who dares attack the home of a king and expects to see daybreak?" Don't forget to like, and if you wish to see more of the series, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Let us continue. A lot had happened in the past year. Besides rebuilding their house, Alice began teaching Arthur how to read and write. Arthur had also been learning the basics of mana manipulation and augmentation. Since Arthur's body was too small for sparring, he began basic workouts. Day by day, he pushed the limits of his tiny body, each day trying to surpass his previous workout duration. It wasn't too long until Reynold decided it was time for Arthur to practice with the wooden sword he had gotten him for his birthday. As Arthur was deep in study in the family library, he noticed familiar footsteps approaching. Reynold pushed the door open with such force that it sent papers flying as he shouted, "Time to train, champ! Let us keep going. I have your sword, so chop chop." Arthur did not reply, having grown accustomed to this routine ever since he began training with his father. Reynold told Arthur to recall what he had taught him to match the flow of his mana to the rhythm of his breathing. Arthur listened carefully, though the instructions made him dizzy, wondering if most 4-year-olds could even grasp what his father was saying. Reynold, holding a twig, told Arthur to come at him with all he had and not to be afraid. Arthur maintained his stance, prepared to charge, making a precise right swing, which Reynold easily deflected with the twig. Arthur swiftly regained balance and charged again, but was deflected once more. Not giving in, he aimed for Reynold's shoulders, ribs, and knees simultaneously, gathering all the strength he could. Still, Reynold deflected every attack with a proud smile, encouraging Arthur not to give up. Arthur knew that if he did not succeed, his father would not allow him to rest. He had little time left to study before dinner. Relaxing his body, Arthur took a deep breath, feeling his mana core as he gathered energy from it. Having caught enough, he knew it was time to use it despite the toll it would take on him. Reynold, thinking Arthur was taking a breather, did not expect what came next. Arthur swung the sword with newfound energy, slicing Reynold's twig effortlessly, shocking him with the force behind the blow. The twig spun through the air with great speed before landing on the ground. Reynold, a seasoned swordsman, was left speechless at his son's display of power. "Can I go study now?" Arthur asked, exhaustion visible on his face. Reynolds, still in shock, hesitantly agreed. Back at the house, Arthur knew that strength was measured by the color of the mana core. The core became purer as impurities were filtered out over time. The colors ascended in this order: black, red, orange, yellow, silver, and finally white. Each stage of the colors was split into 3 shades: dark, solid, and light. The lighter the mana core, the purer it was, and the more powerful. Arthur! Alice's voice jolted Arthur from his meditation, annoyed that time had passed so quickly, and it was already dinner time. At the dinner table, Arthur's food was already served, waiting for him as the clanking of spoons resounded and the munching of food filled the air. Annoyed by how little time he had left to study, Arthur cursed inwardly as he ate. Reynolds, visibly bothered by something, told Alice it was time to find Arthur a proper mentor.